Hello guys, we are back for general structure of internal assessment group for science in IBDP. Previously, I told you what do we mean by internal assessment. Now I'm going to introduce a map for general structure of internal assessment. Moreover, I will tell you what are the IB criteria for assessment and how those criteria are related to my map. Get ready to start. First of all, don't worry. Whatever I say here, whatever I show you in this map will be explained in detail in upcoming videos. These are just the modules you should have in your general structure. The first module is title, which is the research question. Actually, in IA, despite of extended essay, you don't have to separate them. Research question could be your title. Here, the research question must be a cause and effect question, like how does A affect B? How does temperature affect bacteria growth in a sample of food? How does temperature affect internal resistance of a battery? Whatever you may think, it's a cause and effect question, okay? After your research question, you should re-explain it. What do I mean by re-explain? You should first tell the reader what's going on in this IA. Which type of IA is it? Is it a simulation, a database, a field work, a hands-on project? What is it? And then your goals, what you are gonna do here, what are you looking for? And also explain the keywords you have used in your research question in concise way. And then background information. Background information are actually the information you provide highly relevant to your research question. Here, avoid any redundancy, okay? It's very dangerous. You shouldn't write some unnecessary words. Just you should be targeted to explain some specific data or information you have collected for your research question. Don't forget citation all along your IA. Whatever you use must be cited according to academic honesty. The next part is hypothesis. Actually, the reader will see that you have already made an educated guess here as an answer to your research question. You have already made a question like how temperature can affect internal resistance of a battery. Now you will say, okay, increasing the temperature will increase the internal resistance of a battery or will decrease that. And then you will explain why. This why here is supported by the background information you have already provided. It is very important. This is why I say background information must be targeted. You should refer back to them. So in hypothesis, you will make an educated guess. Then you will have your variables. Variables are sort of three types. First is independent variable, the variable you change it manually, and then the dependent variable, which is going to be changed according to change of independent variable. Like independent variable could be your temperature, and then it could be the bacterial growth, okay? And then the last is something like controlled variables. Controlled variables are the variables that are potentially effective on your experiment, but during your experiment, you have kept them controlled and constant. For example, in bacterial growth, as far as I know, the ambient light, let's say sunlight, is highly effective on bacterial growth. So you have already kept your sample out of any ambient light. This is a kind of control variable. Or sometimes in a physics experiment, maybe air pressure is effective, but you have done your experiment in a constant air pressure. Whatever it is, you should mention. These are the variables you explain and introduce. Then you will have your methodology. In methodology, you should explain the safety of your experiment, the safety considerations, the procedure one by one, what you are gonna do or what did you do to do this experiment, how did you collect the data, and also mention the uncertainties, whatever you have in detail, but do not mention any data. Then you will have your data collection and analysis. Here you will have your tables, your graphs, and whatever you have, and then you will analyze them. For example, here the graph shows, in this graph shows a linear increase, sometimes non-linear increase, sometimes a linear decrease, whatever. So in analysis, you should tell the reader it is increasing, it is a linear, non-linear, and how much the slope is, what's the range on horizontal axis, on vertical axis, and so forth. Analyze in detail what's going on here about your data, only about, do not go beyond your data. Then you will have your results. In results, you should refer back to your research question and tell the reader how the data collected already and the analysis you made can support your research question, can answer your research question. Actually, according to the analysis you have made, in results, in very strong words, you should advocate the answer you have for your research question. For the time being, in results, forget about your hypothesis. Just defend the answer you have for your research question and done. The next step is conclusion. In conclusion, you will connect research question, hypothesis, and results. To what extent you have already answered your research question according to hypothesis? To what extent hypothesis came true? It's very important. You may worry if the hypothesis is rejected here, or to some extent it comes true, it's dangerous. No, it is not. Even if you reject your hypothesis, it's okay. Just you should remind the reader what was your research question, what was your hypothesis, and to what extent the results are in agreement with your hypothesis. That's all. Finally, you will have evaluation. In evaluation, you will explain your weaknesses, your strong points, and then you may suggest some more research questions for further investigation and something like that. If you have something strange in your results, like the various strange data points, outliers, whatever, you can have your interpretation and reasoning for that in evaluation, okay? And then finally, this is not actually a part of your internal assessment to be numerically assessed, but it's very important, indicating your academic honesty. Whatever you have cited here must be mentioned in bibliography. You should make a very structured bibliography and show all the resources you have already used. This is the structure. Now let's go to the IB criteria and let's see how those criteria are related to this map. Which modules are related to each other in assessment, and how you can get a good mark. Get ready. Assessment criteria number 1, research design. It has 6 marks. IB says this criterion assesses the extent to which the student effectively communicates the methodology, purpose, and practice used to address research question. Means that methodology and title are compared. So if you have a very strong methodology highly related to your research question, you will get 6 marks here. The next is data analysis. Data analysis has 6 marks again. IB tells us this criterion assesses the extent to which the student's report provides evidence that the student has recorded, processed, and presented the data in ways that are relevant to the research question. So, to what extent research question is related to the data collected and analyzed? This is a very important part, and you will get 6 marks if you have a highly related data to your research question. The third is conclusion. It has again 6 marks. This criterion assesses the extent to which the student successfully answered the research question with regard to their analysis and the accepted scientific context. So you will have your results and your title here to be compared. The reader will check the results and the research question and will assess to what extent you have already connected the results to the research question. Actually, I told you in results, you will advocate the answer you have for your research question according to the data you have. So to what extent they are related. And the last one, evaluation. It has again 6 marks. This criterion assesses the extent to which the student's report provides evidence of evaluation of the investigation methodology and has suggested improvements. You remember we had evaluation and methodology. In evaluation, I told you you may suggest some improvement, further investigation, whatever you have learned and weaknesses, strong points, whatever you had. How those evaluations you have presented are related to your methodology. You should be aware of the weaknesses of your experiment, the further investigation, the more possibilities you have for research and so forth. If you present them well, you will get 6 marks here. Let's go back to our main structure, the map. Here, I can make transparency to some unnecessary modules for the time being and go back to the criteria. Methodology and title are highly related, you will get 6 marks. Data collection analysis highly related to your title, you will get 6 marks. Results and title are related, you will get 6 marks. And finally, when methodology and evaluation are highly related, you will get 6 marks. In the upcoming video, I will consider the research question, how to make a good research question and how to re-explain it. Thank you for watching this video and thank you for being with me. See you.